Warning. The following video contains strong language that some viewers may find offensive or disturbing.
What sucks about being your age? Being 50, I better find something good. I thought 50 was awesome. I finally had enough perspective to realize that I'd been shooting myself in the foot all my life. I'm 54 now. Honestly, I've never had a better and happier time in my life than in my 50s so far. Old enough to know that so many things you used to worry about are really not worth it. Young enough that I'm still very fit without any pains or aches. I have enough money to enjoy life. Really, your 50s can be an amazing time. Being retired. The two things that really suck are, 1. Watching good friends pass away yearly. 2. Having to push through the aches and pains of old age to do the things you enjoy. But I realize that I'm luckier than many of my friends who have had hip, knee or shoulder replacements or open heart surgery. But your second point is important to keep your mobility. My grandparents basically hung it up at 70 and sat on the porch all day every day. And started really slowing down in their 80s to the point that both needed a cane and then a walker. My grandma is still alive at 93 but lives in assisted living and sometimes struggles even with a walker. My dad just turned 70 this year but still plays tennis 2 to 3 times a week and bocce ball twice a week. And still takes on most of the housework. When he retired at 58, he stopped moving and got bad arthritis and back pain, and had to be told at physical therapy that he has to keep moving or it'll just get worse. I'm 29. 5 couples from my friend's circle are expecting a child or recently got married. A few others have built a solid foundation in their career and are buying houses. Most of us grew up in apartment buildings. So it feels fancy to own a house at 30 where I'm from. Meanwhile, I'm currently a student and broke. It feels like everyone's so far ahead in life that they'll always be a step further and I'll never catch up. Once your friends start getting married and having kids, shit becomes lonely. Yep. Doesn't help when you move 3,000 miles and don't know anyone. Especially now since I can't even socialize with new people. And I've made very few legitimate friends out here. Sad face, edit, I'm a woman. But thanks everyone. All you dudes are solid people and I appreciate the sympathy, advice, and kind words. I'm too old to take up most action sports. The body doesn't bounce back like it used to. That shit's real, and too young to retire and just fuck off all the time. The early 30s is that weird age where you're just old enough to be out of touch with what's cool, but not yet old enough to be fully progressed in your career to be sitting on enough stacks to not care about that. Getting there at least. I had a coworker say he felt this way about turning 30. But then someone changed his mind by saying that he's old enough to know who he is and what he wants and needs, but still young enough to do things with his life and have fun. IDK, if this helps, I'm only 18 so I wouldn't know. This is exactly how I feel. 31. I felt so lost for the longest time, trying to figure out who I was. I put myself through some shit and I have experienced a lot. Now I just do stuff I love doing and I care a lot less about what people think of me. I'm even more active than I was in my 20s, was playing on 3 different sports teams pre-COVID, and in my 20s I was very lazy and mostly high. I know this is just my experience though, and it can be much different for others. I'm 25 and the whole existential dread of figuring out what to do with my life is probably the worst part of things. I'm old enough that I should have my shit together, but I'm too young to have my shit together. No one has their shit together. Literally no one. Anyone who tells you otherwise is lying to save face. I'm married, can afford my living, and have my desired career. I still don't even have my shit together. I have no fucking idea what I'm doing. I've just been stupidly lucky. When I was late teens to mid-20s I used to make fun of my dad cause his not being able to read small print newspaper etc. Because letters were blurry. He would ask me, "Steve, read that for me, it's too blurry." I come out and say to him, "What's the matter to old, your eyes can't make out small print?" His reply be, "You just wait, you fucker, get my age you will go same shit." Well, some 15 or so years later I had some blueprints out on table, concrete construction I do, had some details I couldn't make out, so I, "Jesse, come here, can you tell me what that says?" And I be a motherfucker. My son's reply was, "You getting too old, dad can't read that." That moment years back of me telling my dad pop up and thinking if what my dad told me going happened to me one day. He was just saying that he is okay not to forget about him from the grave. Love you, Pops, I'm sure your eyesight is better. I'm not sure if this happens with all people my age. But I'm 18 and people, specifically my parents and close family members but not limited to them, will use the "You're 18. You're legally an adult, you need to be doing these things on your own" whenever it will work in their favor, then immediately go back to "You're still just a teenager, you're still my kid" whenever I try to be even the slightest bit independent. I'm 18 as well, and while no one straight up tells me that I need to get it together, I always feel that pressure. Then I go for a walk and my mom calls me worried if I'm gone for over an hour. It's just a super weird time. Final year student in 2020. Fuck you, Corona. Yeah, me too. Also have no will to finish my thesis. I wish I had only normal classes. It's hard to cope with my anxiety at this moment. Old enough to start to hurt and ache. But supposedly I have another 30 years of productivity in me. Being 21. Feel pressure to save money before I move out on my own bills. Rent, textbooks, tuition, etc. Went to community college, paid tuition, and lived at home. Still very hormonal despite not being a teen anymore, and I'm horny and depressed all the time. At least I can drink. Edit. Just wanted to thank all of you for the great advice. I appreciate it so much. Turning 20 soon, and it's so frustrating because due to my birthday I'm the youngest in my year of school. All my friends are turning 21 and going to the bars, and it sucks being left out. It's so hard to try to find love. TBH. It is hard as hell to find love at your age. You need to open up. Be more honest with yourself and those you are attracted to. Project your true image to the world. And stop caring about what other people around you think. You may be rejected, but take it with humility and grace. Or from the unenlightened heathens that dole it out rudely, silently, without hostility. But I am likely 2 or 3 times your age. It doesn't get easier to find love. But when you do, it is unmistakable. It took me until I was 32 years old. And she was my wife of nearly 25 years. Before she died of cancer. Dulled emotions. Being a teenager had some very low lows, but the highs also felt higher. Now I'm in a constant state of apathy. What sucks about being 30-ish is, now you actually have to make important decisions you were putting off, like changing career, etc. My body is starting to fail me, and no matter what I can do, I can really only watch. Trying to change my health habits now that I'm in my 20s to hopefully prevent whatever can be prevented. Wish you luck. I have a perfectly clean driving record and over 6 years of never missing an insurance payment. But the monthly insurance bill is more than my car payment. I've been to 15 different places. It all ranges from $200 to $350 a month, and I'll lose my license if I can't afford it working 9 an hour. I lose my car. I lose my job and apartment. The panic is beginning to set in about what I'm going to do with my life. I also can't stop looking back on decisions I've made that drastically altered my life for the worse. I'm not old, but I'm at an age where I'm wondering what I'm going to do with the years I have left. Recently I wrote out a 10-year plan for where I want to get to. Because at this point my entire endgame is to end up with a smile on my face in the later years of my life. Nearly 60. I forget things all the time. Easy to remember old things. Hard to remember new things. I once lost my card in an ATM twice in 1 month. All my passwords have to be written down somewhere. As do the birthdays of my lids. I constantly get fatter. Even though I don't eat anymore. I haven't had regular sleep patterns for 20 years. Every day I'm a little more tired. Too young to own a house. Too old to keep living at my parents'. Do you live in America? It always seems odd to me in American culture that you are supposed to leave your house in your early 20s. Here in Latin America that age is closer to 30 or whenever you get married. I feel many of Americans get into huge debt this way. Not a physical thing but more of a psychological enlightenment in my 30s and realizing how hard being an adult it and everything my parents did for me to succeed. At my age now, they already had 2 young kids running around, meanwhile I forget to buy dog food and don't know how to do my taxes. I wouldn't change being 41 for anything but new aches and pains all the time definitely make it suck. You're too young to do things. BC everybody finds you like a stupid child. Nobody pays attention to your opinion. You just exist. You don't live. You exist. That's terrible for a person like me. BC I wanna do stuff. I wanna work. I wanna study the things I like. I wanna talk with elder PPL. But that's difficult. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and hit the notification button. See you next time.